In this video, I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons not to move to Edmond, Oklahoma. Now, I want to be clear from the beginning that the intent of this video is not to dunk on Edmond or even to try to talk you out of moving to Edmond, but rather it's to give you the full picture of what life is like in an area that you might be considering a move to. Because the reality is that Edmond has a lot going for it. It's one of the most popular cities in Oklahoma for people who are relocating from other parts of the country. And if that's you, maybe you're coming from another major city in another state, you might be used to a certain level of amenities, a certain lifestyle. And so my goal with this video is to help you understand exactly what life is like in Edmond so that you can make the best decision for your next move. And the first reason not to live in Edmond is that there really isn't any public transit infrastructure. If you are going to be living in Edmond, you will need a car unless you plan on Ubering everywhere, because the public transit just really isn't the greatest, to be honest. Now, there is a bus system, and to be fair, this would apply to the entire state of Oklahoma. It's not just Edmond. But if Edmond is the place where you're considering a move, maybe you're used to taking a light rail train to work or a subway. We don't have those things in Oklahoma, and specifically in Edmond where you're considering a move. So you need to know that if you're going to live in Edmond, you're gonna need a car to get from point A to point B. The public transit just really is not the best. Which leads me to the second point, and that is when you live in Edmond, you're going to need to give yourself plenty of extra time to get to where you're going. The commute times in and around Edmond can get pretty lengthy. Even traveling just east to west across the city of Edmond can take upwards of 30 minutes sometimes during the heavy traffic times. There are tons of stoplights throughout the city, and because it is a very densely populated city and is continuing to grow, there is a lot of traffic. And so even though that distance from the west side of Edmond to the east side of Edmond might be 4 to 5 miles, it might take you 30 minutes during evening rush hour or on the weekends when everybody is out and about. So you've got to own a car, and you're going to need to be prepared for longer commute times. And when you're taking I-35 down into Oklahoma City, be prepared for some bumper-to-bumper traffic early in the morning and again late in the afternoon during those peak rush hour times. You can see here on the screen the 24-hour average traffic count at Edmond's busiest intersections. 33rd and Broadway is probably the biggest intersection in Edmond, and obviously, as you can see, the most heavily trafficked. And so that is a ton of cars that are coming through these intersections in just a 24-hour period. What you also need to know if you're considering a move to Edmond is that the population of the city of Edmond is continuing to increase. Now, the footprint of Edmond is not growing, the city size is fixed, but the number of people within that city continues to grow. In fact, Edmond is growing at a rate of 0.79% per year, and at the time of this recording, in 2024, Edmond has a population of 97,822, and that is an increase of 3.2% since the most recent census data in 2020, when the population was at 94,750. And so to my point a moment ago about the traffic congestion, that is only going to continue to increase as the population in the city of Edmond grows. Another reason not to move to Edmond is the housing costs are higher than they are in the rest of the Oklahoma City metro. At the time of this recording, the median home price in Edmond, Oklahoma is $379,895. And when you compare that with the median home price of the rest of the Oklahoma City metro at $260,000, you can see there's quite a bit of difference, and your dollars when it comes to purchasing a home just don't go as far in Edmond as they do in the rest of the Oklahoma City metro. And that brings us to the cost of living in Edmond, Oklahoma. Now, to be fair, the cost of living in Edmond is 14.5% lower than the United States national average. However, it is 4% higher than the rest of the state of Oklahoma. And when you compare Edmond to a similar city like Norman, which is a suburb on the south side of Oklahoma City, the cost of living in a city like Norman is much lower than Edmond, not only because of the housing costs, which are significantly lower, but also the food and grocery costs in Norman are lower than they are in the city of Edmond. One of the things that's been a major improvement about Edmond is that the Purina dog chow plant shut down at the beginning of this year. And prior to that, the city could smell really bad of dog food when they were cooking it throughout the week. That's one of those things that you just don't know about until you arrive in the city. And that really is the goal of this video, to pull back the curtain and help you see the full picture of what life is like in Edmond. Because as I said at the beginning of this video, Edmond has a lot going for it, including one of the best school systems in the state of Oklahoma. But I want you to have the full picture so that you can make the most informed decision when you're thinking about moving to an area like Edmond, Oklahoma. And if you're thinking about that move, my team and I would love to help make that as smooth for you as possible. We are local experts in the Oklahoma City area, including suburbs like Edmond, and we would love to have a conversation with you to see if we'd be a good fit to work together and help guide you toward the best neighborhood for you and your family. You can find all of my contact information down in the description below this video. Go ahead and give me a call or send me a text or an email, and let's have that conversation. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. That way you can see more content like this in the future. And if you want to stay up to date on the latest market trends in the Oklahoma City metro area, subscribe to the channel down below. And if Edmond is on the list for your next home, then you'll definitely want to check out this next video so that you can see some of the homes that are available in Edmond and get an idea of the neighborhoods as well as the pros and cons of living in Edmond, Oklahoma.